Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Three Strangers podcast. I am your host, Ryan.
And I'm Nick, and Bill is dead.
He's gone. Guys, we lost him. We couldn't bring in anyone for this one. We're done for. We're cooked.
Yeah.
No, in all seriousness, it's a really busy time for everyone. And we decided, you know what, this week we're just going to do a little short episode, 10-15 minutes, something easy to listen to, and something that has a lot of interaction possibilities with our audience, you guys. We're going to do horror movie hot takes today. We both got two of them. So I figured that what we're going to do is we will say what our hot take is, our number one hot take. We will talk about for 1 to 2 minutes, and then instant cutoff to next hot take.
Oh, okay. Next hot take. No, and then reaction to both afterwards.
No, so within that 2 minutes, that's all we get to talk about that hot take.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Like you and I get to talk about it, and then...
Yes.
Okay,
All right. So I'm gonna put a little timer on my phone of 2 minutes, and I'm gonna start it after we finish saying what the hot take is.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. So do you want me to start?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. My first hot take, which I don't know if I was talking to Nick before the podcast. I was like, I don't know if what I'm gonna say is gonna be like based if this is not a hot take, but my first one is horror movies don't always have to be rated R to be good.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Because I look at films like Lisa Frankenstein. We
Mhm.
loved Lisa Frankenstein. That is a PG-13 horror movie. But within that same vein, there are really bad PG-13 horror movies. You think of Slender Man, right? What I think the biggest issue is, and why there's this kind of shroud over this that horror movies have to be rated R to be good, is that a lot of PG-13 horror movies are originally written to be R. And then the studio's like, wait, we want to get kids into the theater to see this, so we're going to cut out all of this stuff so that it could get the PG-13 rating.
Something that comes to my mind right away is I Am Legend. I remember being able to see that movie as a kid because I was a kid and it wasn't rated R, and it having this impact on me. Now, of course, like everyone talks about, like Will Smith and the dog scene, and I won't say anything else before those who haven't seen it. But I always think like that movie showed me that it didn't have to be violent. It didn't have to be really gory for a movie to be good. It didn't have to have cursing or a lot of blood. It just could be emotionally moving and thrilling and also horrific at the same time without being too violent. Or too graphic, I guess, per se.
Even you could say like Insidious. Great horror movie.
Insidious is PG-13?
It's PG-13.
Oh, sorry. Okay, keep going.
Right? It relies more on jump scares, but that was also a trend within the late 2000s into the 2010s, a lot of jump scares. But still a scary movie. It's not rated R. And that's our timer.
Wow. Okay. All right. And then we'll do me next then? Okay. I'll do my small one for. I'll do my hot take first, and then I think the other one's more of a discussion. But the first one is I think found footage is underutilized still, and could revolutionize horror and film in general.
All right, your timer starts. Why don't you explain a little bit more into that?
So I think obviously if you listen to this podcast, you know that I am a big Blair Witch Project supporter, and I think about we watched Deadstream a few months ago, and I had such a good time with it, and I realized that when done right, found footage can be so real, which is really what they're getting at, right? And Deadstream is a little more cringy but real, like it's supposed to be, and that is successful. But I think just like in a film sense, even breaching out of the horror genre if we utilize found footage more and more, we can create a more relatable horror movies.
Yeah, I honestly I agree with you on this. I love
Mm.
found footage horror movies. I mean, one of my favorite movies of all time is Wreck, which
Mm-hmm.
is all found footage. I love how you mentioned that, like good. Like when I think of a good found footage horror movie, I think of the person who is holding the camera in terms of like an iPhone or something like
Mm.
that is someone trained to be holding it. When it is someone
Yes.
that is not like Cloverfield, and I'm not
Mm.
saying Cloverfield is a bad movie, but
Mm-hmm.
the camera work is so shaky and it is so difficult to get a sense of what's happening because of where the camera is and the person holding it.
Yeah.
Whereas Rec does a great job of showing you all the shots, but still keeping that realism of it is found footage.
Mm. Yeah. I wasn't even thinking about that. Yeah, Wreck is one of your favorites, and you're right. Yeah, it matters what you show, like a good camera holder and that's it, and a good director. But yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
All right. My next horror hot take, and then I think this is the hot take one that I have the hottest
Oh,
take.
okay, okay.
All right. Let me get my finger ready for this. The X, Pearl, and Maxine trilogy is the best horror movie trilogy.
Okay, okay. I think I'm gonna need you to argue and back this one up.
Yeah. So when I look at a lot of horror movie trilogies, and I went through to like do my research on this because this is something that I've thought that
Hmm.
this is the best. And looking through, it's always first movie's great, second movie is either great or in the middle, and then the third one's usually a stinker. Right?
Hmm.
I think of
Okay.
Saw. First one's great. Second one, I still really like it. I think it's
Hmm.
better than that. Third one stinks.
Hmm.
Nightmare on Elm Street. First one's great. Second one's kind of eh, and then the third one, Dream Warriors. As much as I do love it, it's still not great.
Hmm.
Halloween, 1 and 2, great. Third one, kind of a stinker. This trend kind of goes all through a bunch of horror movies. Even like Sleepaway Camp. Love the first one, second one, and third one stinks.
What about Now, this isn't okay. Bringing back found footage here, I would suggest Paranormal Activity 1, 2, 3 as just the first trilogy because that kind of holds together a story. Um, However, I can openly admit none of them are amazing. Whereas in the trilogy you're talking about, uh, they're standouts. They're good performances and good quality movies.
Yeah, like
Um,
X and Pearl for me are 10 out of 10 movies.
hmm,
Maxine's like a 7 out of 10, 7.5.
okay. Um, so Pearl, you think is a 10 out of 10 origin story for X?
Yes.
Hmm.
And
What does it?
it's an origin story for Pearl, the character, not really for the movie X.
That's true. So I mean, would you? Is it okay? I guess I'll finish my thought. I will say I have trouble thinking that it's a trilogy because the origin story for with Pearl is only 1 and 2 and irrelevant in the third.
Okay.
All right.
I'm ready for
Oh
your final. I have my
yeah.
finger over the button ready for once you say it.
Okay. Okay. And this one is a hot take that came up. I think you mentioned it, and I really agreed. I don't think horror movies need to be labeled as horror anymore.
All right. Expand upon that.
We just had an episode on Sinners. I think it's a perfect example. Sinners is this drama until it's not. It's this timepiece drama until it's intense and horrific. I've heard people say things like Eyes Wide Shut is not a horror movie, but it's a horrific movie. Movies like say Schindler's List, not a horror movie, but it is horrific. And I know this is where differentiating between an adjective and a genre, but I think what can be perceived as horror needs to be expanded and also explored more to have more depth.
Yeah. I think of movies like Jurassic Park, where it's not a
Mm,
horror movie, you would say, but it has a lot of horrific scenes within it.
yeah. I mean, it's got gore, violence, jump scares.
I think, like you said, there's such a wall on what horror is, and we could even see that through like the Academy and the Oscars that they will not let horror movies that are labeled as that win awards.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, was it not the substance that had to change genres?
Yes, and the substance they put it under I think a drama as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like it's arguable that the best horror movies are dramas.
Yeah, and that I think a lot of that has to do with the story itself. It needs a compelling story, something to
Yeah.
push everything through, and we could see that with like Silence of the Lambs. Excellent,
Yes.
excellent movie, but
Yes.
the story is the heart of it.
Yes. I mean, yeah, Silence of the Lambs, perfect example. It's kind of a mystery.
Yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, I think that's a really good one. I think that's like a really eye-opening one. I know that was the timer. Um, but I don't have another hot take, do you?
no, that I only prepared two for this,
Yeah.
so that
Okay.
we could
So,
do.
I mean, which one stands out to you the most that we talked about of those four?
I would say that the last one,
Hmm.
the one
Thank
that you
you.
just brought up.
Appreciate it. Wow. Thanks,
Yeah,
Ryan.
I no because I think that's such an important discussion nowadays, and because like we could look at even we just I brought up X Pearl, Maxine, all of that.
Mm,
Mia Goth deserved an Oscar for her performance in Pearl.
mm,
That monologue that she has at the end of Pearl is
mm,
incredible,
hmm.
and to not even be like on the nomination list in general.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Toni Collette in Hereditary. I mean, this could be
Oh
a hot
my
take. I'm
gosh.
not a big fan of Hereditary,
Right.
uh,
Okay.
but her performance in that is undeniable.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Like in my eyes, that is a top 10 performance that I have seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Her performance is what made it so uh uncomfortable to watch. To feel the cringe. It wasn't freaky. It wasn't um I mean it was horrific, but it wasn't jump scary, at least
Yeah,
in her direct her act excuse me, her acting. Um but it was so real. It was is visceral. I think that's the term that comes to my
yeah,
mind. Is visceral. And that deserves to be praised. I mean, that he she you could tell her acting made everybody else in the room want to act better. And that scene in the scene at the kitchen table is evident of that. Everyone is
yeah.
acting phenomenally because she is the kingpin of it.
But of course, then films like Amelia Perez is going to win Best
Mm,
Supporting Actress and all of that.
yeah, yeah. And that really suggests it's very foreboding to have that happen and the use of AI. Oof, I mean, I didn't want to bring up AI because I feel like none of it would be a hot take. It's
Mm,
what the film industry is talking about.
yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah.
yeah. And with all that being said, that's our episode. You know, little something easy to listen to. Of course, we would like to hear your horror movie hot takes.
Mhm.
Uh, if you have any strong opinions on whatever we said, if you disagree, if you agree, leave them in the comments.
Yeah, let us
Uh,
know.
I mean, while we were talking about the other thing, I also thought about the Fear Street trilogy. That's a very good trilogy, but I still would say X Pearl Maxine is
Mm,
better than it.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
think that would be within my top five trilogies,
Okay.
somewhere in there.
Yeah, yeah. It totally would. Yeah, and let us know what you think. Let us know if you have other trilogies. Let us know if you absolutely hate found footage and think it's no good. We'll send you over to Bill, And
Yeah.
and that's it. We'll just do it that way, you know. File that one away.
Yeah. And always remember, keep on forming opinions about horror movies.
Heck yeah. Keep discussion going. Push the genre, push the boundaries. And yeah, give it some love.
100%. Bye,
All right.
everyone.
Bye.